He who moves with the weight of a crown no one gave him. Mercer Frey, guildmaster by bloodshed, nightingale by blasphemy. Mercer walks the corridors of Riften like a shade in human skin. His voice carries command. His eyes scan like a hawk circling over carrion. There's precision in his every act, as if the world itself were prey beneath his heel. To the guild, he appears the answer to decline. The rot in the foundation escapes their notice while his blade keeps order. But behind the calm gaze is a mind frayed by visions of dominion, visions too swollen for a mortal frame. He does not lead to preserve. He feeds. The guild is no family, only scaffolding for his ascent. What they follow is a phantom stitched together by charm and fear. What they call loyalty is a leash gripped by a man who trusts no hand but his own. And behind his smile is a tombstone half carved. This is no story of corruption. It is the anatomy of a parasite born in shadow, thriving in silence, and willing to hollow out the spine of Nocturnal herself if it meant standing an inch taller than the gods. No one recalls where Mercer Frey came from. He entered the guild not as a thief, but as a storm. Quiet at first, then all-consuming. From the start, he understood power not as something given, but something taken. His rise through the ranks was swift, sharpened by charm and shadow. When he spoke, men listened. Gallus trusted him. Carlia stood beside him, but Mercer watched them like a vulture circling kings, waiting. He struck Gallus down in silence and crafted a lie so complete it echoed as truth. With the skeleton key hidden away, he claimed more than leadership. He claimed the guild's soul. Its gold, its fear, its very purpose began to bend around him. He joined the Nightingales not in reverence, but calculation. And when he broke his oath to Nocturnal, it wasn't out of desperation. It was belief. He believed himself greater than the Lady of Shadows, a god made by human will. He was not formed in tragedy nor trauma. He was formed in the crucible of opportunity, and the moment he saw it, he devoured it whole. Strip away the cloak and coin, and Mercer Frey reveals his true form. A mind ruled by three demons: Narcissism, Megalomania, and the cold void of antisocial personality disorder. His narcissism is no passing vanity. Narcissistic personality disorder is marked by a grandiose sense of self-importance, a need for admiration, and a lack of empathy. But Mercer's version runs deeper. He does not beg for praise. He assumes it, as if the world were built around his reflection. Commands spill from his lips with the weight of divine entitlement. Every action serves to polish the monument he imagines himself to be. Beneath that lies megalomania, a delusional conviction of one's greatness, often tied to fantasies of limitless power or godhood. Mercer doesn't just think he's superior, he thinks he's inevitable. The skeleton key, the guild, even Nocturnal's domain, these are not ambitions to him. They are rightful inheritances, delayed only by the ignorance of others. To guard these delusions, he wields antisocial personality disorder like a blade. This condition is defined by a pervasive disregard for others, marked by deceit, manipulation, impulsivity, and a stunning absence of remorse. Mercer lies without pause, kills without hesitation, and betrays without conscience. Gallus's blood on the stone, Carlia's exile, the guild's slow strangling beneath his reign. All calculated, all clean. These are not traits. These are spirits he has invited in, and now they wear his skin. Mercer Frey does not fear death. He fears being common. There's a special kind of terror that infects the narcissistic mind. The thought that greatness is a lie, and the throne is made of dust. Mercer's entire life is built to deny that possibility. Every theft, every betrayal, every cold-blooded silence, it's not just ambition, it's insulation. Protection from the creeping suspicion that if he were not seen, he would cease to be. In clinical terms, narcissistic personality structures often develop as armor over deep, unacknowledged shame. That shame rarely presents as guilt. It presents as rage when challenged, or silence when ignored. Mercer's reaction to Gallus's suspicion was not fear, it was execution. Not to preserve his secrets, but to preserve his reflection. What if he had no power, no fear in others' eyes? What if the vaults were full, but no one called his name? That, to Mercer, is annihilation. Consider Ernest Becker's Denial of Death, a work exploring how mankind builds civilizations, religions, and legacies to stave off the unbearable truth of mortality and meaninglessness. Mercer builds something darker, a monument to himself, carved in the bones of a dying guild and lit by a stolen glow of Daedric power. Not because he wishes to live forever, but because the idea of being forgotten is a death too vast to name. He fears the grave less than he fears being buried with no witnesses. Mercer Frey wages war against a god he pretends not to believe in. Not Nocturnal, though her name is carved into his past, but the faceless god he sees in every reflection, the one who might replace him. His greatest battle is not fought with blades, nor even with lies. It's the struggle to remain singular in a world that keeps producing rivals. Every rising star in the guild is a prophecy of his own irrelevance. Brynjolf's charisma, Carlia's integrity, even the Dragonborn's silence and skill. They are threats not because they oppose him, but because they might outlast him. And yet Mercer needs them. He requires a stage to dominate. He cannot be king of nothing. The guild must endure long enough for him to bask in its fear, but never long enough to question his rule. This is the split that cleaves his soul. He builds what he means to ruin. He preserves what he plans to bleed dry. When he took the skeleton key, it was not rebellion, it was affirmation. Nocturnal had become a witness to his power, and witnesses are liabilities. He could have disappeared, he could have lived rich and untouched, but Mercer cannot leave the stage. He must be seen stealing it. He is trapped by the illusion he cast, doomed to perform until the curtain falls, and terrified that the crowd might not be clapping when it does. Mercer hides not through silence, but spectacle. His mask is dominance, a performance so relentless it leaves no room for questions. He uses rationalization to justify betrayal as strategy. Gallus was weak, Carlia compromised, and the guild lost without him. Lies become truth when repeated in a voice that never trembles. Projection follows close behind. He names others as traitors, manipulators, thieves of honor, echoes of himself, cast on anyone who draws near. But his favorite shield is preemption. He eliminates before they suspect. He strikes before they speak. In the end, no one gets close enough to see that the Emperor wears stolen rags. The fewer who know him, the fewer who can kill the myth. Mercer walks a spiral path, never circling, only tightening. Each step calculated, each betrayal clean. He draws close with charm he does not feel. Narcissism teaches him to mimic loyalty, but never offer it. Gallus, Brynjolf, the Dragonborn, they were not comrades. They were stages he stood on until the crowd grew suspicious. Once close, he cuts. The megalomaniac cannot share a crown. Every rising name is a threat to his reflection. And the blade? Cold, rational, without remorse. Antisocial hunger cloaked in authority. The guild is not family, it's fuel. Carlia, a loose thread. The skeleton key, a mirror that shows him godlike and eternal. Even cornered, he escalates. Collapsing Earthand isn't desperation, it's refusal. Better to drown the truth than see it live without him. So he moves, quiet and precise, leaving only silence where names once lived. Mercer Frey is not just remembered. He is discovered in whispers, in bloodless vaults, in the silence where loyalty used to live. What he built was never a guild, only a throne made of moving parts. The moment they stopped moving, he began to kill them. Power, for Mercer, was never a means. It was the proof that he existed. Every betrayal was a prayer to himself, every silence from Nocturnal a victory. He did not want to rule the guild. He wanted the guild to vanish into him. There is no tragedy here, no fall from grace. What stands at the end is the same shape that stood at the beginning, only more polished, more hollow, more dangerous. A man who needed no one to believe in him so long as they obeyed. A soul that measured its worth by how many shadows it could swallow. And a name that survives only because it left no others standing beside it.